wà nílé iṣẹ́ health concern. Kàn sí wa lálùkò shopping complex lẹ́gbẹ̀lẹ́ epo MRS nítòsí Bishop Phillips Academy Ìwó Road Ìbàdàn àti ní Stanbic Bank Building Niger West Area Challenge Ìbàdàn 090-5000-4816 090-5000-4816 health concern global consult ìlera rẹ ṣe pàtàkì.
32 FM
94.9.
We have the time coming up to 16 minutes past 6. 32 FM 94.9 Dugbe Ibadan. Don't forget you are live on YouTube this morning. 32 FM 949 Ibadan. Dr. Olu Ojedokun is doing the analysis this morning on the show. Good morning, Dr. Ojedokun.
And of course, top of the day to you.
My name is DELE ADEYANJU.
And I am GBEMISOLA SOYEMI.
All right, we have stories cutting across papers, national dailies today. But I have this one. It would be idiotic to break Nigeria. Obasanjo tackles IPOB, Yoruba Nation agitators. Dr. Ojedokun, Obasanjo has benefited immensely from Nigeria from the word go. So I won't ever be in support of Nigeria breaking. And I'm sure that he has been there first as a military ruler, later as a civilian ruler. So he knows the ways to tackle all these problems, especially the insecurity issues we have on our hands.
Yeah. Of course, he's benefited. Not only has he been a ruler, he was the commander that received the instrument of surrender from the Biafra in 1917 Durham Barracks. And so he's been intrinsically linked, entwined rather, with Nigeria as it is. And in those days when the Afenifere, the Nadeco and so on were asking for restructuring, it was people like Obasanjo that stood in the way and said no. They stood for a more unitary than federal system of government. So it must be heart-wrenching for Obasanjo at this time to see that the Nigeria that he dreamt of, the Nigeria that he fought for, the Nigeria that he wants, is not the kind of Nigeria that is manifesting. I think he's become a reluctant disciple of restructuring. Obasanjo of the old didn't want restructuring at all because he had the opportunity and he did nothing about it. And I think his voice is important now because we're having many disparate voices that want the separation of Nigeria, not just restructuring, but actually going on their own way. And I think Obasanjo speaking would make sense. But Obasanjo has said something which is significant. They say shun agitation for disintegration, but he said much more than that. He said not unity at any price. In other words, there might come a time that the unity itself may not be worth it, especially when people are dying left, right, and center. I mean, interpreting the statement of the former president.
Now, he said that it is better that Nigeria stays together and finds solutions to its challenges than for each tribe to go its separate way. My question always is, what exactly is the solution to the challenges facing Nigeria?
No, I think we certainly need leadership first and foremost because we ain't got any at the moment. We certainly need a structure that works for the people. The structure that we have doesn't work for us. It is not a structure that is indigenous to us. It's a structure that was imposed. So we need a structure that works for the people. We need good leadership. And of course, leadership that's accountable. At the moment, we don't have it. And that's why things seem to be going haywire. People say we are on autopilot. We're not on autopilot. Autopilot, at least, things have been programmed. Nothing is going. There's nobody there. Yes. It's not. We're not on any program at all. And I think that's the problem. And of course, their voices coming. Again, the fundamental problem we also have is that we don't have a National Assembly that is responsive. They're not speaking to the issues of the day. They're not dealing with the matters that concern you and I. Instead, they go on some far-flung issue that is not topical and relevant to us.
Over time, you've said that we can't have a new constitution because it's going to be, I don't know, cumbersome or illegal or something.
No, I was struggling at some point in time, but I passed that stage. I was struggling to find how we can legally adopt a new constitution.
I'm
but
sure
that's the way forward now.
I'm sure you respect Area Babalola, who just said on the news today that National Assembly can enact a new constitution.
Yes, and I think that's the way that it can be done. Initially, I didn't think it can be done, but I think the way it can be done is that under the provisions of the constitution as amended, they need to bring in a clause, amending it so that we can have a clause for a referendum, of course. And referendum has to include things like new constitutions, amendment, and some fundamental changes. If we can have that sort of provision, then there's no reason why we cannot use that as a basis to bring in a new constitution. And of course, vote on it. The people will vote on it. And if we get the majority of Nigerians going for the new constitution, we have it. So it is possible for NAS to do it, you understand. But first, they must amend the clause, which makes it almost impossible for us to replace the constitution.
If we're talking about a new constitution, are we referring to an entirely new constitution, or we bend towards the clamor for a revert to the 1963?
Yeah, 1963 is a new constitution entirely, because obviously it's parliamentary, obviously it's based on regions, it's based on the exclusive and the concurrent list, are completely different from what we have now. Majority of the powers that we had in the 60s rested with the regions. Today, vast majority of the powers, about 63 items, rest with the federal government. Power, federal fire service, aviation. There's so many things that you wonder, even regulation of the airways and so on and so forth. So many things you say, can't the states do it better? You know, can't the state function better with it? Policing, for instance, it's not rocket science. It's not science of the rocket variety. Do you know that policing is better at the local level? It has always been, you know. So things like that, a new constitution should take those things into account.
Are there no parts of this 1963 constitution that may seem archaic, since things have changed over this long period of time?
There certainly will be, but not so significantly. I think the point is to get the principle of the 1963 Constitution, which is that most of the powers should be with the regions, recreate policing arrangement that works for the people at the local level, and then all those other areas that have been overtaken by events, of course, they can be taken care of. You know, that's why we would need a constitutional reform committee or assembly or whatever it is to look at all these areas so that they can be harmonized properly.
Now, what is a major difference between secession and forming a regional government within a country?
Well, secession means you go on your own way, you become independent, and you have the right to join the United Nations. Okay. But within the country may be like a confederation, which means you still have a federal government, you still have a government at the center, just that the power of the government of the center is limited, weak, as it were.
All right, away from that, yesterday, two different two different unions suspended their strike, their industrial action. JUSUN suspended the 2-month-old strike, and Nigerian Polytechnic teachers, that's ASUP, also suspended their strike. The question I asked the doctor off air was the suspension of JUSUN's strike. I mean, I thought they were hell-bent on getting what they wanted, but then he said that people had, there were calls by people that officials, government officials now, and maybe even the government itself is using the opportunity to do some kind of underground work that we might not be aware of.
I think there are two aspects to it. I think certainly they've made some headway. Some states have considered autonomy. The Chief Justice of the Federation has got involved. But I think more fundamental is the urgency of so many legal actions that are waiting to be filed. Actions against the ban on Twitter, actions against a violation of freedom of expression. And of course, some people are behind the scene must have appealed to JUSUN that JUSUN relax. We need these courts now. We don't need you to be on strike. So I think that there are two things working in tandem at the same time. But if you go to River State, you discover that Wike, who's a life bencher, said that they're not going to pay them for the week that he warned them that they should return to work. But let's see how this pans out. I'm itching for the courts to come back because I want to test the legality. I want to test the viability of some of the actions of the government in the past 3 months, as it were.
Yeah. And talking about ASUP, they said they suspended the strike in view of the progress made in its discussions with the federal government. I'm hoping that we won't go back to 3 months after, 6 months after the federal government has not done its own part of the agreement, and then we are going back to this industrial action.
I really feel for ASUP because ASU tends to dominate the airwaves because ASU is for the university teachers and of course ASUP is for the polytechnic teachers. And whether we accept it or not, the way it's configured, the university is rated more highly than polytechnics. I mean, even from look at the numbers, people would rather go to the university. And so a lot of times, the concerns, the legitimate concerns of those in polytechnic are sometimes overlooked in favor of ASU. So I think it is right that they express their legitimate concerns, but it's also right that the government intervenes to ensure that we have no sector of the educational system on strike. It's unacceptable in this day and age that teachers should be allowed to go on strike. When I mean allowed, I mean in terms of the service terms and conditions, because investment in education is what's going to leapfrog us into where we should be.
They said the suspension is for a period of 3 months to enable the government's complete execution of the items contained in the memorandum that they signed with the federal government. So we'll just sit down and see, get our fingers across to see if the government would, fulfill its own parts of the agreement.
But the reality is that when you suspend the strike and say 3 months, it usually takes much longer for you to come back. It's it's easier. It's more difficult to come back on a strike once you've suspended it. It's always more difficult. I mean, see, ASU situation, some of the terms and conditions still haven't been fulfilled up to now. And yet ASU, to be able to mobilize, it just takes, because people get lethargic, they get tired. So, I mean, to me, I think we should have, hopefully, some industrial peace for some time here. And let's hope the federal government lives up to expectation.
All right, Dr. Jadokun, let's look at some Oyo state-related stories. I have like 4 headlines right here, but I take this first one. Igongo massacre. Buhari's silence suspicious, dangerous, Bode George. Former Deputy National Chairman of the PDP, Chief Olabode George, has said the silence of the president on the killing of over 40 people by suspected Fulani herdsmen in Igongo, Ibarapa local government area of Oyo State was suspicious. George said it was disappointing that Buhari's aide, who always react swiftly to incidents such as this, have remained silent. According to the PDP chieftain, it was dangerous that Buhari, being a Fulani man, has refused to speak.
This is very interesting and very concerning. The president is the glue. The president holds Nigeria together. The president is president not just of the Kanuris, not just of the Fulanis, or not just of the North. He is president of the entire country. And that's what should happen. When there is mayhem, when there is murder, when there is kidnapping, when there are killings, it should be the president who should come out as the sort of leader of the nation to console and to assure and to give confidence. And when the president is silent, or when his office is silent in such an issue like this, a massacre in Igaga, then of course it raises some fundamental issues as to what exactly is going on. What's on the mind of those ruling us? Is there some hidden agenda? Those questions will continue to be raised. And it's only the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces who can dispel, those concerns. And by being silent, by being quiet, you don't dispel it. Don't dispel it. And I think that's our concern. And that's the concern of many people. So we don't exactly know what is going on. But what we know for certain is that if it were to be on the other side, a statement would have been issued promptly and accurately and quickly.
Maybe because the president has been berated. Maybe that's why we are not getting any statement from the presidency.
Or maybe because he doesn't have the means to be able to do it. After all, well, Twitter has been outlawed.
It has aides that usually would come out to say something on behalf of.
He has, and usually the quickest way, if you look at it, when they communicate with the Nigerians, it's not through NTA, it's not even through media houses, it is through Twitter. If you noticed, it's been through Twitter. So I think the silence on Twitter, you understand. I mean, I'm saying it tongue in cheek.
But we were saying, we have it that all Malami and the others have been tweeting using VPN.
Yeah, well, let's be very accurate. Malami entered Twitter to delete, to deactivate.
Took a screenshot of the process of his page.
But the problem with it is that we're all banned from entering Twitter. You understand? So the onus is on Malami to come and prove to us that he just went and deactivated, that he didn't read any tweets. You understand? He didn't engage with it, just deleted it.
What about the allegation on crypto?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's another matter entirely, and that exposes some hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy.
Yes, at the highest levels. It's one rule for the goose and another for the gander, and that's quite unfortunate. It shows you, if it is true, that people governing Nigeria are not very, very serious. You understand? They're not serious about governance. They just want to impose their will. They're not serious about serving the people, and that's rather unfortunate.
All right. In other stories, take action. Stop accepting failure over kidnapping, killings in Oyo. Ex-Assembly Chief Whip tells Makinde. A former Chief Whip in Oyo State House of Assembly, Adigun Ahmed Abiodun, has advised Governor Seyi Makinde to take necessary action in order to address security challenges facing the state. I take that one with another headline here. Gunmen abduct 4 in Ibadan. That actually happened, I think, yesterday. Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have abducted 4 people in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The 4 people were kidnapped Wednesday morning along the Ibadan-Ijebu-Ode road. They were coming from Ijebu-Ode when they were whisked away by gunmen. Daily Post correspondent further gathered that families of the kidnapped victims went to some radio stations to protest the kidnap of their kinsmen. So eventually, 3 were released, and one is still with the kidnappers. That same route, Ijebu-Ode Ibadan road, and we have lots of police checkpoints on that road. So I don't know how this happened again. If somebody comes and says that this is going to happen again, then maybe we're going to have another one soon.
Yes, there's certainly a number of blind spots in that area. It's true that that place is littered, and populated with security personnel, but they're blind spots. And those people that are doing the kidnapping, they know the area and the terrain very well. They know it better than some of the security forces. You also have to understand that some of the security forces are not from that area. So combing that area sometimes proves to be very difficult. But this is rather disappointing in Oyo State. Governor Seyi Makinde is doing tremendously well in some areas. But if he cannot master security, if he cannot dominate the security arena, then a lot of what he's doing will fall by the wayside. But he would argue, you understand, that he has dual, the control of security is dual in the sense that it comes from Abuja and it also comes from him. And Abuja would always supersede what Governor Seyi Makinde wants. And their Moteku itself are only armed with Dane guns and some jazz, from that point of view. And in many instances, those Dane guns and the jazz will not do it. What they need is to be fully equipped, fully weaponized. I've always been afraid of them being fully weaponized because are they really properly trained? But where many of our people in the southwest have been killed, have been hacked to death, have been kidnapped, what is the alternative? So I think Seyi Makinde really has to get a grip on the security of the state. He has to find a way. He has to find a way, because if he doesn't, then all the good things he's been doing in the state will fall by the wayside.
What of a collaboration between Ogun State government and Oyo State government?
Yes. I think that they're doing that. In fact, Amotekun really, across the southwest, have started joint operations to protect the interests of the southwest. So I think, yes, Ogun State, Oyo State, working together because of the Jebu axis and that sort of thing, will do some good. I think what we need more than anything else is intelligence gathering, so we know the hot spots. And I think if they can invest in drones, drones have the capacity to go up in the air and find out all the areas, that people are hiding or using as their tunnels or dens and so on and so forth. So I think we also need to be bold, imaginative, and find ways forward to be able to cope with
What about combing the forest and talking to the villagers and the farmers?
Yes, absolutely.
Along that the line. Those kidnappers must have been using these villages as their hideouts.
Many of these villagers would know if there are suspicious movements all around. So, of course, you need intelligence from the villagers, but some of them are under a oath, as it were, of fear. They're a code of silence, if you might use that expression. But I think incentive needs to be given to these villagers, and the villagers need to be able to cultivate it so that you can get information. In fact, the way that it's done in the West is that you embed amongst these villagers people who are security operatives. They act as farmers, they behave as farmers, but they're not. They're combing the area, looking for any suspicious movement and feeding it back to the HQ.
But, sorry, Gbemi, once this is happening in some parts of the country unchecked, then they're going to have an easy operation.
No, Togun has already said it. General Togun, or Brigadier Togun, as I choose to call him, retired, has already said it, that the entire Yoruba land or southwest has been infiltrated, and that our forests have become havens, and dens, and abodes for all kinds of criminals, you understand, bent on invading our terrain. So I think it beholds that everyone has to be vigilant. We have to mobilize their Motekun. We have to find different ways. In fact, people are suggesting that we go the other way. You understand? I'm not sure that it works. Many of you speculate that it works, but they say just maybe one way forward. Well, whatever way forward, even prayers in churches or whatever, we must find a way forward to be able to secure the peace and security, not just of the Southwest, but in fact the Nigerian nation.
Maybe these villagers need enough reasons to trust security operatives to even give them the intelligence they need or they demand from them.
Oh, they would need incentives, of course, because they don't want to put their lives at risk.
But not just, I'm talking about trust. Because I'm sure there had been instances in the past where, you call on these security operatives when you're in trouble and you don't get to see them until the war is over.
Sometimes they turn the tables around. Remember the Ogun State incident?
Yes. Well, first and foremost.
So how do you regain trust
it's going to be very difficult, except we have security operatives that are based and are from those areas. The security operatives that we have currently, we're talking about the federal level, are not from those areas. They're from other areas. They don't understand the terrain. So regaining trust is going to be a mammoth task. But if it's just the Amotekun kind of people, yes, I think that's going to be easier.
Doctor, do you know that these days when people are troubled, they prefer to call Amotekun than to call the Nigerian police?
Because Amotekun is localized. Amotekun is, they can relate to Amotekun.
They will speak the same language.
They speak the same language, the body language, everything. But you call the Nigerian police, who knows where he's from? You understand? And may not understand. I have a friend who is a top echelon in the Nigerian police. It's been posted to one of the states he knows nothing about, you understand? He's learning everything about their culture and their body language. And I think that's part of the problem with our policing arrangement. So go back to the policing architecture, revamp it, and restructure it.
Well, I should take a break now. There is a report here. Nigerian forces have commenced a major operation against bandits and other criminal elements in Kano. The one division, in conjunction with the Nigerian Police, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, local vigilantes and hunters are carrying out the clearance of Aguri Forest and other hotspots. We'll take a break for some messages.
For a healthy family.
iléeṣẹ́ Novesola wọ́n ní kí n sọ fún ọ pé tòjò tẹ̀rùn gbogbo àkókò ńlẹ̀ dá ádámà nílò náà yàtọ̀ sí náà dògán tá a fi ń sun bọ̀ọ̀lì lábà oko àgàgà iná sólà tó ń gbàgbára láti inú òrùn tó bá gbọ́ Novel sólà ní ó tẹ̀lé iléeṣẹ́ Novesola wọ́n ti wà ní sẹpẹ́ fún pèsè àwọn èròjà sólà lẹ́lẹ́kàǹkà inverter solar panels and batteries solar kit láti tanná láti charge battery gbọ́ rédíò kọrin jẹ̀gbádùn àti láti tanná ẹlẹ́yin bíi 2 sí 3 solar fan tó ń gbé fan láti tanná sùn dẹ́kun ẹ̀fọn amáranini ṣokùnfà àìsàn ibà solar floodlight fàyíká ilégbèé àtòpópónà fún sẹ̀mọ́lẹ̀ solar freezer láti ṣe nǹkan jíjẹ mímu lọ́jọ́sí kómi síta fóníbàárà solar CCTV camera ẹlẹ́yinjú àsáfàbò nílé iṣẹ́ àtọ́fíìsì solar water heater tí somi tútù di gbígbóná solar water pump tó lè fami gòkè ní kànga energy saving appliances DC bulb DC TV DC fan tó ń gbàgbára náà sára bẹ́ẹ̀ làkànṣe solar product wà fún dókítà lecturers farmers tailor àtàwọn ṣọ́ọ̀bù káríkárí Novesola kan náà ń lo kájú ẹ̀ kàn sí wọn bó rajà lólulẹ̀ iṣẹ́ wọn tó wà ní Akíndélé plaza ìdójúkọ Adámọ̀sìngbà stadium Mọ́kọ́lá Ìbàdàn tàbí lẹ́ka ilé iṣẹ́ wọn tó bá súnmọ́
081-8776-6005.
Novesola ló mójútó solar.
Give me my Kellogg's, world's #1 cereal. I love my Kellogg's, world's #1. Give me my Kellogg's, world's #1 cereal. I love my Kellogg's, world's #1. Kellogg's, #1. Kellogg's is world's #1.
Enjoy the world's #1 cereal, Kellogg's today.
The lights are on and the stage is set for the next music sensation. Who will be the next Nigerian idol? Watch the live performances every Sunday at 7 p.m. and keep your favorite contestant only by voting. Vote via SMS by texting VOTE and your favorite contestant's number to 32053. Each SMS costs 30 naira. You can also vote for free on the website africamagic.tv/Nigerian Idol or get a woof votes by downloading the My DSTV or My GoTV app for more voting power. Keep your fave in the game. Voting starts on Sundays and ends Wednesdays. Nigerian Idol, sponsored by Techno Mobile and Biggie Drinks.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take they protect my teeth from cavities? Shey they use Comfu?
No, dear. Now, hole for teeth they cause most tooth pain will be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, take brush every day. The confirmed formula could help keep natural calcium inside our teeth. We could protect them from tooth decay.
Time don't reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate. Because Colgate locks calcium in.
And the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Home. There's something about it. From the feeling of peace and serenity.
Bros. Why so deep? Home is anywhere the Airtel home broadband is.
That's all. Enjoy more data than before on Airtel Home Broadband. Get a router for 25,000 naira with up to 160 gigabyte and a MiFi for 12,000 naira with up to 55 gigabyte. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
All right, 20 minutes before 7 o'clock. We're going to open the phone line soon, but before then, we still have one or two stories to talk about. So, Doctor, the headline, the story I read the other time from Daily Post, Nigerian forces commencing major operation. Maybe this is one of the ways the Mr. President said is going to shock bandits.
Well, that's a welcome development if that's exactly what they're doing, taking the battle to them and taking the military with all their armory and weaponry. And let's hope that it succeed. But what it tells you, Kano, you understand, Kano is also in the midst of this, which means that there's no part of Nigeria which has not been engulfed. Does Nigeria have the capacity, the capability, the numbers? And I'm not sure that they have the numbers at all, you understand, because there's no part of the country that is not affected at this point in time. But at least action they must provide and action they are doing. So we must give the president some kudos. But let's see the results of this, whether they're going to achieve the success that is needed so that they can move on. But except you deal with the social economic factors, the factors that have led to this happening, which is the body language, which is the message the president continues to send by the way that he acts, by the way that he speaks, this will continue to exacerbate and continue to multiply.
What if we have this sort of collaboration? The Nigerian police, the NSCDC,
Yes.
the Amotekons,
Yes.
the local vigilantes, hunters, and all that, combing forest in Oyo State. At least it's going to send some shivers down the spine of this hoodlums.
And shivers, it should send down their spine. But you saw when the Sunday Adeyemo, aka Bo, wanted to begin to comb. It was prevented by the military forces, according to reports. So that kind of joint operation is not yet happening in Oyo State, and that's what Makinde should be working for, working with the divisional commanders and so on and so forth, to see that we have this kind of joint operation, but that the entire Oyo State is combed, and not just Oyo State, all around the country. Comb these places, fish out all these criminal tendencies, you understand, apprehend them and prosecute. In Ganga happened when? Was it Sunday or Saturday?
Saturday
up to
night,
now.
Sunday.
Up to now, how many people have been arrested? One or two?
None
Nobody.
yet.
None yet. And that's the story of banditry and criminality in Nigeria.
In the past, we've had, the federal government coming up with all these operations. Operation Lafia Dole, Operation Thunder Strike, Operation Scorpion Dance, or whatever it is. We've had this kind of operation, even though some of them are not joint operations like this one we're about to have.
Well, there's always been operations right from the time of Operation Damisa, and Damisa, of course, was a coup in that sense. But we're not talking in that sense. We're talking about operations that are effective. We don't just want fancy names, you understand? And I think sometimes we get carried away by the fancy names that are deployed. I think what is the reality is we're in a war situation. There's no doubt about that. And the sooner the government realizes that we are and operates as if we're in a war situation, the better. Having said that, that's not an excuse to start declaring state of emergencies all over the place, because that might be another danger. But we must begin to take seriously the fact that banditry, kidnapping, and the lot threatens the territorial integrity of Nigeria. And if we don't address it now, we will go our separate ways one way or the other.
Local hunters, local vigilantes, they know the terrain, the whereabouts,
yes, so it's good that you get hunters, yes.
And maybe they have the jazz, and also the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, they have the intelligence, the guns. The Nigerian police have the guns. So this collaboration is very necessary.
I think we blend everything together, even though I think...
even the jazz, Doctor.
Even though I think jazz is overrated, you understand? No, jazz is overrated, because if jazz wasn't overrated, you understand?
You are an African man, so you just have to believe in jazz.
Well, you say it. You yourself have never seen any jazz before. You understand? So I think jazz is overrated, but whatever you can use, you understand? Let's combine everything, as you said. Let's use it. Fish out these people. But before that also, at the same time, not before that, we must deal with the social economic factors. The country's economy must work for the people. Because even after you've cleared these people and the economy is not working, these people are going to find something to do.
Yesterday, Bamidele Salam presented something in the House. He's a member of the House of Representatives about talking to Emefiele about unnecessary devaluation of the Naira. I don't know how far they will go about that.
Well, you call it unnecessary devaluation. What are we producing? We are not producing nothing. You understand?
We're a consuming nation.
We're a consuming nation. And so we are at the mercy of what's going on globally from that point of view. So and then we're not getting, normally what we used to do, even though we're not producing much, we used to get a lot of foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment continues to dry up. Twitter, which was one of the signs as to whether we are a stable democracy or not, has been shut down.
Lai Mohammed said Twitter is coming back to beg. And I don't know if...
and that Twitter and other social media platforms will have to register before they can operate in Nigeria.
Well, Lai Mohammed definitely lives in a different planet than I do. Twitter is not coming to beg anyone. In fact, do you know that Twitter has upgraded itself? So that if you are on iPhone, you understand, you don't need any of this VPN or any surreptitious means to get through. So Twitter would sort itself out. Nigeria is the problem, not Twitter. Nigeria is the problem.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Now, this comrade Omonode Jijira from Agbowo, in respect of the silence of the president toward the Igega massacre, I don't know why some of our stakeholders, we don't like to come out to speak it to the power in some aspects. Some time ago, Baba Sojo has made it abundantly clear that there is an agenda to colonize Nigeria. And sometimes we Yorubas, we behave in a diplomatic manner to look away when these stakeholders are making some utterances. Now, I called yesterday, and I call your attention to the utterances of Telkisan Ibrahim on one popular radio. That it is so obvious that there will be a reprisal attack in Igaga. Now, when agenda to Nigeria is still continuing because they are hell bent about that agenda, why should we look away and we pretend as if they have forgotten that agenda?
070550949 0809-70949. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay.
Dr. Good morning. This is okay. Doctor, we always know the government will always renege when it comes to strikes and how to discuss with people. So I won't be surprised if they renege on ASU agreement. I think what they want is, well, most especially our Minister of Labour, who thinks he knows it all more than every other person. He exudes this omniscient knowledge that sometimes it beats me. I begin to wonder if he's actually serving us or we are the ones serving him. Even the same government too. And on the Gogo issue, their silence leaves a lot of things to think of. I can't imagine this happening to somewhere else that they have vested interest in and they will ignore it. Yesterday, I said something about what the comrade just said too, how he came up and said they will come back, and they came back. Nothing was said. These things, we are losing our lives. Precious people that will add to this nation. When and how will we get out of this issue? Good morning.
Good morning, okay. Thank you for calling.
Hello, good morning. Hello. All right. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
I'm Faladu from Papa Iludo calling. I think I just want to advise what Baba Basiya said. I want to align myself with what Baba Basiya has said. That it will be idiotic for somebody to be thinking because of his own personal aggrandizement. So the show what our father have done, you want to divide Nigeria because of your personal interest. It's very, very idiotic. I supported what Baba said. I just advise the youth, please don't allow yourself to be used. Most of these people, they are broken, they are political defeated. They are political defeated. They just want to use the youth to achieve to gain power through the back door. Let them go and contest election.
Thank you, and good morning to you too. Let's observe our last break. We'll be back to take more calls.
This is what you hear on Sunday.
You were beautiful.
This is what happens before Sunday.
Where are the teams? One more slip up and you are out. Do you understand?
It's rehearsal time, everybody.
Where's my dress?
Watch Countdown to Showtime, an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the intense rehearsals, painful setbacks, and all the drama as the contestants battle for the ultimate prize on Nigerian Idol. Countdown to Showtime, only on Showmax.com.
Give me my Kellogg's, world's #1 cereal. I love my Kellogg's, world's #1. Give me my Kellogg's, world's #1 cereal. I love my Kellogg's, world's #1. Oh, oh, Kellogg's, oh, oh, #1. Oh, oh, Kellogg's is world's #1.
Enjoy the world's #1 cereal, Kellogg's today.
Guy, what's in the make you scatter house like this, eh?
I beg, you help me see my Airtel SIM.
I carry and give Sade yesterday, but you know they use am again now.
Yay! You don't carry my bonus give landlord picking. Now today you go pack out.
On top Airtel SIM?
Yes, so if you don't reach 15 days where you never use your Airtel SIM, go find them now. Because why? Ogonga will full on top of. Hey, get 2,000 naira airtime plus extra 200 MB for just 200 naira. The more you recharge, the more you are woofo. To begin enjoy this awoof, just dial *241*7#. Terms and conditions, Joe.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey dey use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection take brush every day, the confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth wey go protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
And the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
As the best man, I'd like to give a toast. But first, I have a few things to say. The money they are spraying the couple is reducing. It seems some people have rubbed glue under their shoes to pack it.
Clearly, he's been watching Comedy Nights or maybe My Siblings and I on Africa Magic Urban, DSTV channel 153. Now, you too can get inspired by our local entertainment. Get a HD decoder, dish, plus 1 month DSTV compact subscription for only 18,600 naira. Because great stories start on DSTV.
Chidi, now where you dey go dey jump road up and down?
Na papa say make I buy am shakis.
Shagini? Oh, I don't tell this man say make you know they send this boy buy alcohol now. Papa Chidi, I beg no dey send this pikin buy shakis o.
Mama Chidi, why now? No be buy I say make him buy. Make I no dey send a message again.
Papa Chidi, you no know say na small before you go want know how the thing dey taste, eh? And if that one can't happen, when you come dey drink am, na big problem be that o.
Hey, he reach that one?
Yes, so Papa Chidi, he reach. Person will never reach 18, not supposed to touch alcohol. Papa Chidi, you hear me so? Even the Federal Ministry of Health talk say alcohol now for only person wey don't reach 18.
Okay, I don't hear. I no go send am again. In fact, make I go tell am myself. Chidi!
Now, Distillers and Blenders Association of Nigeria, DBAN, will be subsector of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, bring on this message.
Our oil sachet, 70 naira, only 70 naira. I said our oil sachet now, 70 naira, only 70 naira. Ogbonge cooking oil now, 70 naira. For a healthy family, 70 naira. Ogbonge cooking oil now, 70 naira. Our oil sachet now, 70 naira.
Our oil for a healthy family.
All right, we have more callers trying to get to the line. This line there. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Jordan Jock is my name. I'm calling from Challenge. And let me just thank you or appreciate you. First of all, let me just thank you for accepting that we can have a new constitution, contrary to your earlier view, either last week or 2 days ago. Yes, no man is an island. The 1999 constitution is a monumental fraud, as it had that we the people, whereas it was promulgated through Decree number 24 of 1999 constitution. Reviewing the constitution is a waste of time. Yes, the Olusegun Obasanjo has spoken against agitation from different groups. I want to align myself with him. But the issue relating to the cause or causes of agitation need to be addressed by this government. And Chief Olusegun Obasanjo is a member of the National Council of State. And they need to address this issue within that caucus. The OBJ himself agrees that Nigeria has never been so divided. Hence, as an elder statement, the federal government needs to listen to him. But Chief OBJ should know that you don't beat a child and expect the child not to cry. I am John Njoku. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just as a quick follow-up, I think the first thing that needs to happen is that the Council of States needs to be conveyed. It hasn't been conveyed in the last 4 or 5 years. And of course, the president is the one that conveys it. I think there's other mechanism in which it can be conveyed. So without that, using the Council of State to address some of these issues might be a forlorn hope.
0705 5000 949. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Why did government do that? That should be the thing that should be sounding on the brain of Southerners now that are supporting them. Why did they do that? I think government should support somebody to fetch out people that have killed people. Why are we now defending them now in the forest? And when they come out now, they go and strike, they go to the bush, they will try to make attempt to arrest them, they will send military again to prevent them. Then people that have supported them in the south should ask them why that. That's at the best of today. They are on their own.
Thank you. 0705 5000 949. 0809 7000 949.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, this is Sabi. I'm calling from Monia.
All right.
Yes, Nigeria, it will be better for Nigeria again. You know that sometimes, even once, we always want a situation where there will be crisis, chaos in the country. Sorry. Very soon, Nigeria will be at peace again. That is what I have seen. And that is exactly what God has said. The Egyptians we are seeing now, very soon, we will see them no more. But the only thing is that let us be at alert, watch and pray. Let us pray to God that since human beings have failed us through governance, He should govern Nigeria. Nigeria will be better for it again. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a nice day too.
Dr. Jadokun, you said something. I think I'll feel something that before we took our last break, that Twitter has upgraded and they're moving on. I don't want to talk about this because I don't want us to be sanctioned that we're trying to. Yeah, but I realized that in this day and age, you still have some bodies, instead of circulating information via email, they are still going about sharing letters, papers.
I think that's archaic. I think it's analog. I think it's a waste of resources. I think it doesn't make any sense. When with a tip, with a touch of a button, you can send information mass. You send people around, scurrying around in taxis or cars. I think whoever has that mindset, has a mindset that is situated in the 19th or the 20th century, we need to move ahead. This country has to move ahead and graduate to the next level.
So it looks like the world is moving, but Nigeria is just, I don't know, we just...
We can't...
No, the problem is that it's not just that the world is moving. The world is moving and we are moving in the opposite direction.
So we're not even stagnant.
We're not stagnant.
That's not a good news. All right, let's see if we can take one more call before we go. 0705 5000 949, 0809 7000 949. Or should we just say our goodbyes?
Dr. Jadokun, just before we wrap up, we're still going to acknowledge and celebrate June 12, won't we?
Oh, yes, I certainly will be celebrating it in my own unique way. June 12 is important. It's important because to us it represents the hope for democracy. We don't have democracy in this country, we know it. But it's a hope. It's something that at least will give us something to aspire to.
All right, it's time to say our bye-byes. Thank you, Dr. Jadokun, for coming on the show. We'll see you some other time. My name is DELE ADEYANJU. Good morning.
And I am GBEMISOLA. SOYEMI. Bye for now.